I laughed at you when you said you wanted 10 acres for 500,000. He says, you would never have got it. He says, but here you are, you got it. He goes, it was impossible. And you just showed me there is possible when you believe. Constant ear infections, the instant asthma, that my kids would experience. I started getting major dizziness and vertigo spells. We became allergic to so many things, even the water. That's where the vision came. It was time to move. Purchasing this land took everything. And that's when you really trust and you learn what faith is. Things aren't always just given to you on a silver platter. That is what I wanted for my children, is to learn what hard work heals. That's been a great experience as well, for them to understand and see where food comes from, respect the land, respect farming. I'm building a sanctuary for them.
You're teaching them, oh my gosh, integrity and passion and love and trusting their intuition and respecting another being's journey in this lifetime. I mean, where are children going to learn this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sleeping Lotus podcast. I'm Laura Jean.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we are your hosts. This week, we are speaking with a guest who came here from South Africa and spent many years here to only find herself feeling unwell, along with her children and the rest of her family. And she kind of figured out something very interesting. And I think this is a really good lesson in learning about our intuition and the blessings that nature can give back to us. So today I want to welcome Angelique Barlow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Hi, ladies. Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Yay. So excited to have you. We could still say that you are our second international guest so far, since you aren't, from here originally, which is always exciting to have another perspective from someone who's lived outside of our country as well. So we can start with you coming to the U.S., and I'm actually kind of curious if there were things here that were different from South Africa that you just sort of kind of maybe noticed even immediately that affected you in a, an unhealthy way.
Yeah. Goodness, that's actually a good question. So one thing I noticed was, firstly, America's got a ton of choice. I mean, in South Africa, you got one tiny little aisle of bread. America, you got 2 aisles, different kind of bread. And, that just blew me away. But one thing I started to notice was that America, unfortunately, were very big on their additives, their preservatives, and GMO. And that's one thing I found, that upon eating American bread, if it wasn't freshly baked, and obviously with with grain that hasn't been sprayed with glyphosate and, produced on a GMO basis, it started messing up my stomach. And I think majority of humanity, when we eat that kind of bread, it messes up our systems. So that was one of the things. And then obviously the sky, the stuff that they're spraying in the sky, unfortunately, had a major issue when it came to neurological systems, for me and my family. And then, there were tons of other stuff, for instance, like Wi-Fi. When we, came from, I'd say we started our journey, we were in the UK. Then from the UK, we came to America. And we started off in Texas, New Jersey. That's when I met you beauties. And we landed here in Florida. And we noticed that the development that we were living in was an ultra-Fi community. And sort of that's where everything began. The headaches, the constant ear infections, the instant asthma, that my kids would experience. I started getting major dizziness and vertigo spells. And we became allergic to so many things, even the water. And that's when we started realizing and doing the research that ultra-Fi communities are actually really, really bad for the body, because we are energetic beings and, we frequency. So when we start having certain frequencies tapping into our own energy, especially if you're very sensitive to energy, which I am and my children are, the body starts to break down, and especially if you have heavy metals in your body. And if you have heavy metals in your body, that gets amplified by the frequency, by ultrafy. So that's when we started getting really sick. And, that's where the vision came. It was time to move, go to the country, be free, smell fresh air, drink well water. And yeah, that's like really where our journey began.
So was it a hard decision to move, or was it just like, I know this deep inside of me that this is most likely the problem? And also, were you seeing doctors? Were they kind of being like, don't know what to tell you, like you don't know how to explain this?
100%, Laura. And
Yeah.
it was when that started happening, that's when Spirit started dropping visions. And I'd say it was probably about 2 years after being in that house, and we were there for 7 years. And 2 years, I got the vision that the only way we're going to be alleviated by these symptoms is if we move to an open piece of land. And I saw the trees, I saw the land, I saw my children running around on, the acreage. And I was like, that's how's it even possible? And Spirit, they won't drop anything in your awareness if they know it's not gonna manifest. So, I just accepted and I like surrendered to it. And after 5 years, that's when Spirit came and said, okay, it's time to look. And we found it. But you're right, in terms of doctors, I mean, we've spent thousands of dollars, unfortunately, on doctors after doctor. And unfortunately, they only know how to prescribe. They don't find the root cause if you go to General Western, And upon seeing holistic practitioners as well as Eastern, Ayurvedic, and natural doctors, that's when they started discovering all the issues that we had. And it's just such a pity because I think together as a whole, if East West meets West, we could do such incredible things. But I feel it's starting to move that way, which is really exciting. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that whole new evolution of medicine, which is coming through.
I'm excited. I know, I was spent many years in the medical field, and I realized back then how important it was to combine, both of these teachings. So I'm looking forward to the day where there is more choice holistically and affordable. And I know that is something that does keep people from seeking out more holistic practices because it can be a bit more expensive. So hopefully that will all change in the near future. And I know we have some very excited younger generation groups that are marching forward, and hopefully they'll have this like at the top of their list because I think it's going to make a huge difference.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah. So now, was your husband just completely on board with it? Or did he have a little sort of like pushback of, I don't know if I'm ready to leave New Jersey or.
Oh my God. My husband always has a panic attack when I say, hey, you know what? Because he knows what happens after that. But no, he's actually been great. In the beginning, I had to sort of like, there was a little bit of bribery going on in terms of like making my plan manifest. But, as we got to Florida, he started seeing the actual physical effects and the research. He's a very data-driven person. Typical 3D mentality, which I 100% respect. And it keeps me actually grounded, which, so we're a great mix together. And when I started showing him the data and he started seeing the symptoms, that's when he realized, okay, it's time to move. Let's take on the journey and embark on finding this beautiful piece of land.
Yeah. I will say, because I'm sure a lot of people, they can't feel the waves themselves. Like a lot of people, if they're not aware of it, whereas other people, like you said yourself, are really sensitive to it. I think even though it's out there and people might be on board about it, they're still wanting all the new technology and are accepting that it's coming in. And I think we really have to question it. We have to question if that's really right for human beings, because as you said, we have this electromagnetic field around us, and that's proven by science. I literally was reading a book today that quoted certain scientists that were studying that specific field. And I think the more that people bring in nature into their life, and they don't have to fully go back to, say, like doing what you're doing with farming and living on the land with animals, but I think there's still kind of a stop button that we need to push before we continue to bring more of these towers and things to our communities. And then
100%, yeah.
And then, of course, the question of the AI buildings as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh, it's evolving so quickly, Laura. And I think that's been part of the problem. We haven't really had a say in this. This has just been happening, behind our backs. And that's where it needs to stop. People, especially communities, need to understand what's coming to their community because, number one, you're paying the taxes. Yes, it's great to have the technology, but at what price? And there's a lot of these 5G towers that go next to schools, and they're starting to see that it has a major effect on these little bodies. And there are kids that are developing lymphoma, all these different cancers because these 5G towers constantly riddling their little bodies. And it's really, really sad. It really is.
Yeah, I have a personal experience just with myself. When I touch the phone, sometimes I go through these episodes of where it just feels like my bones are feeling radiated, and it's quite painful. So I absolutely believe in all of it because I'm experiencing it myself too.
Yeah.
And I will love when I actually get to the time where I get to be in a more open area, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe not as far, depending on how much I'm able to heal, but still out more in the country,
Yeah.
connecting with the animals, connecting more with nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
And I also think, one of the things that we do is come the nighttime, we always unplug the Wi-Fi. I don't like it running through, the house. And I also, I help my family and my friends, and the kids need to especially witness what the radiation does, number one, and also where it is. So we have an EMF reader. So I will show them exactly how much radiation they're getting if they have earpods, which I don't give them earpods. I give them the actual in-wire earphones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't like them sitting next to an outlet because that's got a ridiculous amount of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Their beds, I make sure their beds are not at an outlet because you're sleeping there for 8 hours. So your little brain is going to be right at that point. Simple things like that that we are cognitive of that can make a difference. But I mean, you can say it till you're blue in the face, but a lot of people don't really believe in it, which is totally okay. But I think science is starting to show now that it does actually have a major effect on the human body.
Mm-hmm.
I think the information is there if people want to find it.
Yeah.
It's there for you. So it's what you're able to handle. And,
Yeah.
whatever, I mean, it's not a one size fits all. We've said that in numerous shows, and it's a lifestyle change for many. And, that can be scary. So
Yeah.
pushing someone outside their comfort zone, as you well know. But then it came down to a choice for, your family and yourself. And do I stay here and continue on this way, knowing that, believing that this damage was actually showing itself physically, or do we go ahead and take that leap of faith and really trust in the universe? So, and I just have this feeling that this wasn't just an easy transition. We just didn't wake up one day and say, oh, we're going to move to Florida and everything is going to be wonderful and the cows are going to be there waiting for us and the house will be finished. And because life doesn't work that way. So you had a chance to grow and learn and experience through all of it. So tell us about the trip to Florida now that you've got Don on board and the kids and everybody's in the car and you're ready to go.
Yeah, because I remember some like really beautiful synchronicities and signs that you received. So let's dive into those.
Yeah, absolutely. And Okay, so are we going to be when we arrived in Florida or leaving New Jersey? Because they're two different.
Wherever you feel
Okay.
is
All right. You're saying in the
beneficial.
cities. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. I guess, one of the miraculous things that happened was obviously, come to the 5 years, we manifested this piece of land, and it, Spirit just came through, download, and said, okay, knock, knock, it's time to start looking. I'm like, okay, what am I looking for? And I just heard 10 acres. I'm like, what, say again? What was that? And it's like 10 acres. I'm like, oh my God, okay, looking for 10 acres. And we came across a few places we saw what didn't really feel like home. And we gave it a break. And within the next 30 days after we took the break, Spirit was like, okay, it's time to look, your land is ready. So I'm like, okay. And just as I opened Zillow, this beautiful piece of land popped up, and I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And then I looked at the house, and it was a fixer-upper. And I'm like, oh, Don's not going to go for this. But hey, we'll try. So I showed it to him. He goes, yeah, that's too much work. I said, listen, let's just go check it out. And the whole drive here was beautiful. And as soon as we got at the car and we stood on this land, it was home. We could see the vision, and we just knew it was home. But now this is where the miracle happened. So we put an offer in, and our offer got declined, and they went with the higher offer. But when we left the house, the actual house we were looking at, got home, and I noticed that I picked up a hitchhiker, and a spiritual hitchhiker, for those, wondering what I'm talking about. And it was a little girl, and she was probably about 19 years old, and she had this beautiful long black hair. And I noticed her, and I'm like, okay, I'll let her be. She's settling into the energy. So 24 hours went by, didn't say a word. And then after that, she started getting a little heavier. I'm like, okay, this ain't happening, honey. So we sat down, and I spoke to her. She wasn't, reciprocating. And then, like I do with all the spirits that come through, I'm like, okay, babe, I'm going to call in my team, and we're going to get you home. And as soon as I said home, her hair flipped back. And in anime, they've got those beautiful eyes that, sparkle. She came with those eyes, and she said, thank you. I've been waiting to go home for such a long time. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so welcome. And as soon as I said that, my team came down, and she was whisked within 30 seconds. And I was like, that is the quickest transition I've ever had. And that's when I knew that part of my purpose was to come here to bring her back with me so we could send her home. And I was content with that. I was like, okay, thank you, God. That was beautiful. Anyway, fast forward 2 weeks later, the realtor contacted me, and she's like, so they pulled out, and we want to know, do you want the house? I said, okay, at the given price that we put the offer in. She said, yes, but you got 30 days. Sorry, not 30 days, 3 weeks to, close. I'm like, okay, sure, that's great. Put down the phone, and I nearly had a panic attack. Firstly, we unfortunately lost a lot of money with crypto. So all our savings was gone. We had no deposit. We had no mortgage. And we were renting the house back that we were in because we sold it. And I said to my husband, I don't know how we're going to do this. And he says, well, I guess it's not going to happen. I said, it's going to happen. Don't you worry. And literally 30 minutes later, my husband came to me with sheer shock on his face. He said, read this email. And I saw the email, and it was his HR department that said, hey, guys, we just wanted you to know, but we're releasing your bonuses 30 days early. And I was like, oh, my God, you can't make this crap up. So
the hair on my arms is standing up.
I'm like, and he looked at me, he goes, how? I said, listen, honey, you can't explain it. It just happens. When you're in alignment, it just all falls into place.
I'm like imagining his face and you calming him down.
And I'm like, yeah, this happens all the time. So then, we tried to get a mortgage, but we couldn't get a mortgage because it was agricultural land, because it's different financial laws. So we spoke to our friends that evening, and like, hey, I know a friend who knows a friend. I'm like, great, let's get in contact. Suffice to say, we nipped a mortgage in the bag, and we literally gave our notice, packed the house, and finally moved into our house. Within 30 days, we got the keys. So that in itself, if you talk about alignment and surrender, that right there, the biggest life chapter that you can think of and decisions happened so fluidly within a matter of 48 hours. And I'm like, that's when you know there's something so much bigger than us that is waiting and wanting you to surrender.
Absolutely. Stepping into those synchronicities, and you can't even explain it to someone. You have to have that experience yourself. But what an incredible story. And I'm sure a lot of people right now that have waited 3 and 6 months to move into their home are scratching their heads, thinking to themselves, what did you just say?
Exactly. And you know what was beautiful? One of our old neighbors, they came, when we moved in here, probably about 2 months later, and he's a realtor. And I told him my dream, and he just said, Angelique, that's never going to happen, because he just, for the amount that I wanted, I'm like, that's okay, Mike, it's all good. And when they came here, he left and he said, you know what, Angelique, I just want you to know, you made me believe in miracles. I'm like, can you explain what makes you say that? He goes, I laughed at you when you said you wanted 10 acres for 500,000. He says, you would never have got it. He says, but here you are. You got it. He goes, it was impossible. And you just showed me there is possible when you believe. And that was just so beautiful. And that's, me just being me, doing who I am, allowing others to see that what is possible when you surrender.
Yes. Yes. Just step outside your comfort zone, because I always say that's where the magic begins. You have no idea the synchronicities that will take place to get you exactly where you need to be when the time is right. No sooner, no later, and it's not anything you can control. You just have to listen, pay attention, and not much second guessing here, because that's a lot of the ego. And again, a lot of it is faith and trusting in yourself. So yeah, amazing story.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool as well.
So now you have Don and the family, and you're in this beautiful home. Now what?
Yeah, I imagine that just as much as this loving piece of property was given to you, I'm sure there were challenges as well. But with the challenges, there's always usually the lesson and the blessing afterwards. So
absolutely. And, that's the beauty of it. There's always a silver lining, no matter how challenging the journey, the experience. And that's one thing this piece of land has taught us as a family. We were challenged in so many ways. Number one, financially, because purchasing this land took everything. And, that's when you really trust and you learn what faith is, because when you understand that you are believing in something that is not tangible, it's very difficult for a human brain to actually see the end goal. Yeah. And that is something that I've always believed in. I've, walked so many miracles and experiences that I know that God is always there, and I'll always be blessed with what is meant to be. And to try and tell that to my husband was challenging. So, as the months went by, there was a lot of work that needed to be done, a lot of cleaning up. We had to fix the house up, make it to our standard that was comfortable. And it took every penny and every ounce of blood and sweat and whatever you can give. But it was so worth it, because seeing my boys run outside, get so dirty, having fun in mud, like ankle, like knee deep. It was beautiful, because when they were done, you just take the hose pipe. Okay, honey, stand there. Mama's going to hose you off before you go in the house. And that would sit there for hours. So it really taught them character, number one, because, they learned that things aren't always just given to you on a silver platter, that at times you have to work hard to see the end result. And that is one thing they learned by, for instance, just simply cleaning the backyard, which was covered in shells. It took us a long time to do it, but it was hard work. And that is what I wanted for my children, is to learn what hard work heals. Hard work heals. just pure joy in knowing that you did it and that nobody else could have done it for you because you decided to take the step and do it. And stepping back and looking at, the miracle of a clean backyard is so freaking amazing. It's so good for your soul, right? And, also bonding, for my boys, they've bonded with their dad. And that is something especially boys need. They need male, I wouldn't say authority, I'd say more of a role model, because it teaches them, number one, how to be resilient, how to really show up for yourself, number one. Respect for yourself is the first thing, as well as respect for others. And also to use your muscle, because as a woman, we don't have that brawn. We truly, and this is what I believe, we have other magical gifts. And it's taught the boys that when I can't do stuff and I'll ask for help, they step in, they say, yeah, mom, I got you. And that is purely why we moved here. Part of the dream was to, number one, show my kids where food comes from, because my youngest, I asked him, where do chickens come from, Zane? He goes, from Publix, mom. I'm like, no, honey, they come from a chicken. I was like, Don, we're moving. And so, that's been a great experience as well for them to understand and see where food comes from. Respect the land, respect farming, not just wasting food, throwing it in the trash because you don't feel like it. It's, learning the integrity of knowing when to stop, number one, when to stop eating, knowing when to share your food, when to keep it so you can, have it later on, and not just throwing it away, because these are beautiful sentient beings walking on the land and they're losing their life to feed us. So I truly feel like, and this is what I'm trying to bring, is this compassionate farming, because yes, they're cows, yes, they're pigs, yes, they're chickens, but they're living their life and their life is being taken to feed us. So, I think that is such an incredible gift, and we need to give thanks, every single time we, take an animal's life, because if it wasn't for them, we would not survive. So why not bring integrity and compassion and give them such an incredible life, nutrition, love, joy. I mean, seeing my cows run around on the land, throwing a ball up in the air, it's so beautiful, because, at the end of the day, when they do get processed for meat on your table, the meat, number one, is so energetically rich, because when they were slaughtered, they weren't slaughtered in a traumatic way. They could not smell the blood, obviously, in the slaughterhouses. And unfortunately, I know it's a very deep subject to talk about, but it's something we do need to, start addressing, especially with kids, because that energetic transfer happens. And that's why a lot of people get sick when they're constantly just consuming meat that, number one, hasn't really been blessed and the animal was suffering. So, that is what I'm trying to do over here. And it's beautiful to see that in our area, there are a lot of other regenerative farmers, starting to share the same kind of sentiment. And it's beautiful. And it's not completely going back to ancient ways. It's just being aware. We've had our culture and the history on how we used to do things, but let's bring compassion. Let's bring technology that makes it quicker, less evasive, and just so much more humane.
And you're teaching your children such beautiful lessons along the way, enriching their lives too, and future generations. But to see your children thrive the way they did, taking them from one location and then, really, that was a huge leap of faith, knowing that, okay, we get this far. What happens if this doesn't work out? Then what do we do? So, there's a lot that goes with that too, that we're not talking about, but anybody who can do something similar, they understand. But you're teaching them, oh my gosh, integrity and passion and love, and, trusting their intuition, and respecting another being's journey in this lifetime. I mean, where are children going to learn this?
Spot on, Steph, because this is the part of the lessons that we're not teaching in school, and that's why I homeschool my kids. And it was, thankfully, when COVID hit, that was the perfect time to do it. And raising boys, especially, who are, they like to label it ADHD, but the way I see it is they dialed into a higher dimension. Especially boys are very busy. They want to, build with their hands, and putting them in a seat is, for me, probably the worst thing you can do, especially when they're creative and they just want to run around. So, homeschooling was so important as, one of the family building blocks, because we woke up and, it was beautiful to be able to sit and just have breakfast with the family. And then the boys could go run outside, climb a tree, build a spear or whatever they felt like doing. And, sitting around the table conversing with mom and dad, let's talk about the day. Hey, what are you guys doing today? We're starting to lose that. We're starting to lose that connection with families, and especially when families are so stressed financially, time, and a lot of other things that come into play, because there's a lot of single moms out there that don't have the support, so they have to send their kids to school. And it's really sad. And that's sort of why part of the vision that came through is we building a barn on our land. And what came through during my life visioning meditation was Spirit was asking me to actually bring children and give back to the community. They showed me circles, they showed me weddings, they showed me schools, they showed me farming, and I'm like, okay, thy will be done through me. You got to show me. And that is what Spirit had been doing. And we got a beautiful Montessori school tutor who will be tutoring children on our land during the week. And we are so excited because the garden that we're building, these little hands are going to be digging and, planting seeds. And they are going to be learning, number one, where food comes from, how to gather it, how to grow it, and also how to cook with the food that you gather. So, this is the life skills that these kids are learning. And this is how we used to do it many years ago. Plus, we have a community that bring like little trinkets and gifts to share. And you still got the education side. So these kids are really, really well educated, but not just in academics, in humanity, emotional intelligence, all those incredible, rich things that we are losing in society now.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Yeah, this is beautiful. I love it. I'm really curious about how quickly you saw changes with your children, with being on the land and being there and being homeschooled. And
yeah, look, I mean, it was challenging. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it, because when you send your kids to school, you've got time for yourself, right? You've got time to clean the house, you've got time to cook, you've got time to go shopping, you've got time to do your nails, typical things that we do for self-love. But when you homeschool, it's totally different to how, the kind of lifestyle and routine I had. So I had to learn all over again. And this is also part of where my inner journey became very prevalent, that I was still carrying a lot of trauma, a lot of old conditioning from my mother. So I realized I had to start doing my own inner work, because I did not want them to carry it. I did not want them to be the ones that were going to put up with my BS so they could feel safe, not be seen. I didn't want that. And so that's why I did a lot of the inner work, and they could see it, and you could just see in their little faces. It was just, it's turned out to be such an incredibly calm, joyful home and experience and journey where the kids feel safe. I mean, where do you get a 15-year-old coming up to you, say, hey, Mom, can I talk to you about something? And he confides in me. He apologizes for stuff. We don't really have a lot of that anymore. And that's because I'm building a sanctuary for them, a foundation for them to realize that home is where all of us live. Not just you, not just me. We all have a job, but at the same time, you are so safe that no matter what you say, you'll always be supported. No matter what you do, whether right or wrong, you'll always be supported. And, it happened very, very quickly. They became so happy. My child was crying when he went to school. He cried when he came back. The bullying, And bless the teachers, they can only do so much with 30 kids in a class. And I just realized I wasn't going to lose my son to the system. And that's why I pulled him out. And it's been such a blessing. They have blossomed. They are resilient. They're calm. They're funny. They love to have fun. And it's not just them, it was the family dynamic that really changed. And it's been such a blessing.
Yeah, you said such a key word there, which was safe. It's so important, not just for adults. We come across that ourselves in relationships, right? We want to feel safe, especially women in relationships. But I don't think adults fully understand how important that is to a child's development for them to even grow up to feel like a safe human being in their own skin. So that's so powerful for your son.
Yeah. Thank you, Mama. It's and you know what? And that's part of the inner journey that I was going on, learning and understanding that the issues I was having, all the conditioning and the anxiety and the fears, because I never got the opportunity to be safe in my body. And that means speaking, sharing my anger for something, sharing that I don't agree with this. I wasn't allowed to disagree. And that's why it's so important for kids nowadays to understand you can share your voice. There is a boundary, but let's talk about it. Let's work it out, because it's important so they can learn regulation in their nervous system so they don't follow in our footsteps later on in life. So,
and it's not based so much upon social etiquette. Now they actually get to use their own voice, but the healing is, it's a crucial role, for stability and balance. And how do you teach a child, the things that you've learned through your own healing? I'm sure parents listening will have a lot of questions about this. What a beautiful story.
Thank you. Yeah. And you know what is so great, because I teach them obviously the tools that I use, with energy healing, deciphering what is yours, what isn't yours. And also, learning how to regulate, tapping EFT, which helps a hell of a lot with kids. And my little guy, I'll never forget, he was 7 years old and he had these big feelings. And you could see his lip was quivering, the tears were coming. I said, honey, do you want to talk about it? He goes, no, Mom. I'm going to go get some me time and I'm going to go breathe right now because I just need to breathe. And I'm like, oh, God bless you. And he went and he breathed and you could hear, he goes, it's going to be okay. I'm just having a bad day. So it was so good that he could name it, because a lot of kids and adults can't even name their emotions. They can't name their feelings. So it just disappears into the body and it goes in this loop in the brain over and over. And when he walked out of there, he was calm as a cucumber. He thanked me and he goes, thank you, Mommy. I'm going to go play now. I'm like, okay, honey. Just like that, and that's when we have the right tools, we can become such better human beings.
So when does your book come out, Angie?
Well, funny you say that. I do actually. We just co-author the book.
Yay! Congratulations.
I know, thank you. That's just one of the miracles. But Steph, you're right. I have been, there has been this niggling, like spiritual download that a book needs to come out. So when it happens, I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking back to when you first walked into my home and joined in our spiritual development class, all these years later, to see this beautiful human that you've just blossomed into, this incredible mother, which I'm sure will have a lot of parents questioning now, their children and maybe more things that they can focus on. And maybe you've given them something to really think about, and they can gather those tools that they need to help their children in these areas. I don't think there's a better gift that you can give back, especially to a community, because as they say, it takes a village. So you're just an amazing person. We love you so much. So now you're on this farm and you have these amazing children that are just bursting at the seams with excitement as mom decides that she wants to bring on livestock.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah. How did that come about?
And what did
oh my,
Don have to say about
oh
that?
my God.
Was it
Well,
the chickens first? Was it the cows? Like, who came first?
chicken or the egg.
Chicken or the
Well, the funny thing is, like, when we actually purchased the land, they had cows on it. And the guy was struggling to, because he was also in the process of moving. So he didn't want to, pick up the cows on this land, plus another, 80 or 50 cows that he had, throughout Florida. So he just said, hey, do you mind just like, watching them? I'm like, keep them. So good. I've got you, boo. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was like, come here, cow, come here, cow. It was a beautiful experience, and obviously you do have to um, be very careful because cows kill people. No
Mhm.
matter how sentient they are. If you come between a mama and a baby, she's gonna storm you.
Mhm.
And you come between a bull and mating season, yeah, if he doesn't like you, he's gonna storm you. So we learn very, very quickly. We give them space, but at the same time we treat them with so much respect. And it's been so beautiful, especially seeing the birthing process of the cow. And it's incredible because they carry for 9 months just like we do, and you know exactly when they're going to give birth. And honestly, it's like 30 minutes from the time their water breaks, 30 minutes that baby is out. And thank God, touch wood, by the grace of God, everyone has been safe and beautiful. And
Yeah.
they've got so much resilience. And these little calves just popped right up and like trucked around like nothing's happened. It's the cutest thing. The cutest thing. So yeah, so we inherited uh it was 5 and then moved to 10. And then unfortunately he came to remove the cows, and my heart broke because he was moving out of state. But then we actually purchased 2 from him, and then it's just grown. We are at 5 now, and we want to try and keep it around 5 or 7. I actually think the 2 heifers are pregnant, so we could be up to 7 cows by December. So we'll keep you posted.
Okay.
So I'm assuming though that like you can't just go and have livestock and just do what you want. There's obviously still regulations and
Yeah.
things around it. So did the community step in to support you, or was there someone that stepped in, or was this something where you had to kind of really research
Yeah.
how to do this?
Yeah, so like where we live, we've got a lot of farmland, which is lovely. And my next door neighbor, she's got chickens. So, we got our eggs from her for the longest time. And we had lots of cow pastures around us. And the community here has been amazing. It's like typical old school community. And, we lost electricity, and my neighbor calls me up, like, do you have electricity? I'm like, no. Okay, well, don't worry, honey. I'm out of town. This is the code for my garage. Go and get the generator and hook it up. I'm like, you've just met me. She goes, but I know where you live, baby. I'm like, you got there right. So, very old school. Everybody looks out for each other. No one has got these issues, and it's just so refreshing. It's so beautiful, and we've really, really blessed with the amazing neighbors that we have. But in terms of the cows, you do need to get agricultural exemption, and that's one thing we had to do. And they're so awesome. They come out, they check your land, make sure your cows are great, and make sure everything is good to code. And they have got a plethora of information, so everything has been a whole learning curve.
Mm.
And it's just been so incredible. And we've got chickens coming up, so we are currently doing the layouts and building the chicken coop, as well as our garden, fruit and veg. And I'm also going to be growing flowers. So there's going to be beautiful, you pick flowers that we will have. And I so badly want to rescue a donkey, but my husband doesn't want to. I love donkeys.
Well,
Well, you got what, mini cows instead?
Oh no, I know
No,
these
you
are
didn't get one?
full-grown as cows.
Full
Yeah,
grown.
full
Okay.
grown. My friend down the road, she owns a farm school. and she's breeding mini cows, and they are the sweetest things. They're
They
so
are. They're
fluffy.
adorable.
They're so fluffy.
Mhm.
But she's going to be bringing them when we have our weddings. That the collaboration is we collaborate with her, and we'll get her little mini cows in for any weddings that actually want to have them. So
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
thank
Man,
you.
this went from like looking at a rundown home that needed a lot of work and a lot of love, and you put that into this home, and it's growing and it's benefiting your children, your husband, and you, and then it's now going to be helping the community again to foster a memory of love when it comes to your weddings and when it comes to any other retreats that you might have there. I know
Yeah,
you had spoken of like a women's circle that you're interested in facilitating. And I
yeah,
know we only have you for a brief amount of time here. We have a little bit more time. So I'd love to hear a little bit about this, like the women's circle that you want to create, but also you had mentioned conscious leadership to us. And you move from such a conscious space. It's completely emanating from your energy.
I
So
agree.
I'd love to maybe touch on it, and then maybe when you return, if we don't
yeah.
discuss all of it, we can talk more about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is something that I've always, felt in my bones, but especially since we came to the land, there's a lot of ancestral energy on this land. And, upon connecting to it, they said, we want you to bring love back. And that's why we were waiting for you. And that's why we got this piece of land.
Mm,
And I want to honor the land for that. And that's why it's, I got goosebumps.
yep.
And that's why, it's so important. I feel like this is a whole new way of living. We are sort of creating a new vibe of conscious leaders at the end of the day. And what do I mean by conscious leaders? It's about leaders who have integrity, and we are not just here for the hustle. We are not just here for the money. It's a consciousness of collaborating, connecting, and community at the end of the day. And this is what I want to bring here. And everything is just falling into place. And especially for women, because I feel the collective for the divine feminine is rising.
Mhm.
And it is rising so beautifully, but at the same time, it is not I wouldn't say it's an evasive matriarchal energy. It's the softening of the woman. It's the softening of her voice. It's the softening of her being. She doesn't need to fight anymore because now she can actually lay down her armor because she has the masculine, the divine masculine supporting her. And this beautiful collective oneness is starting to come about, and it's just so exciting. And and this is the vision they came through. They wanted me to bring conscious leaders here, and that would be for the woman collective. So it would be holistic dentists, it would be holistic OBGYNs, it would be naturopathic doctors, it would be somatic leaders. And somatic for me, I think, is very, very prominent and important because to hold a circle, I can hold a circle, but if I have somebody in my circle that is going through a tremendous amount of trauma and that is going to be releasing a tremendous amount of trauma, I'm not qualified in that.
Mhm.
I have got an immense amount of integrity to make sure that when you come to the circle, you will be held in a sacred container by the right conscious leaders. And this is somatics, I feel, is going to be the next wave of it's going to be like brushing your teeth. We need to learn somatics in terms of how to regulate our nervous system. And, everything has an emotion and a feeling and it gets stuck in the body. So, how do we move out of that? And it's also about sensuality, sexuality, that is all somatics, that's the body. And we no longer need to be ashamed of it. We don't no longer to be, feel guilty for having cleavage. I mean, this is a beautiful body, right? And I mean, we need to honor it. And that's one of the things I told my boys as well, you know. I mean, I've been very blessed with cleavage, and before I wasn't, before I was so ashamed because I'm like, oh my God, they're looking at me. But then I hit my 40s. I did my inner healing. I'm like, you know what? This is me. This is what God gave me. And I am just so blessed with this.
That's such a good thing that I'm glad that you say, because I am months away of turning 40. And I saw something that someone had said, and it was more about like having the person celebrate the fact that you're turning 40 and not like dreading you're getting older.
Exactly.
And I sit in the same seat as that thought process, is
Beautiful.
that I just celebrate, because for any of the youngins out there that like think they know what getting older is like, it is not like this doom and gloom thing. Like, sure, we experience the body, it's a physical thing, and the mind, etc. But it's also like powerful to be in this place of just knowing yourself so deeply.
Beautiful. And yes, and it's a celebration. You should celebrate. You just every single day is an opportunity of doing it again and doing it differently. And I'm walking into my 50th year this year, and everybody is like, oh my God, how do you feel? I'm like, man, I'm so excited because I know I've probably got, touch wood, hopefully another 35 years left in this body. So I sure as hell am going to make it worth my while. And, when you get older, you get to that point where there is no return. And it's like, I'm going out with a bang. When I am on my deathbed, I'm going to say, I lived a great life.
What a ride.
What a ride, baby. you know, and that's why I feel like I am just living my vision and I am bringing it together. I mean, I'm scared and it's crazy, but you know what? Who cares? I'm living the vision that I got given, and I'm so grateful, so blessed. I'm just so excited. I really am.
And that who cares, I think it is stronger the older you get. And I mean, since everybody's talking about their age and stepping into, I will be stepping into the number 65 tomorrow. So,
oh my God, happy birthday!
Yep.
Happy birthday.
So it is. It's what you make of it. You always have a choice. Do you choose to enter into this energy of it, this frequency of it, or do you choose this frequency? It's always a matter of choice. And again, what your reality, what you've created for yourself too, that has a lot to do with it. Your lifestyle, how you take care of yourself, what your thoughts are, what's the energy that you're putting out there, are the people in your life, the relationships that you have, are they adding to this abundance that you have in, right now? And so there's a lot to take into consideration, and I'm hoping, which I'm sure you will, come back again really soon, though. I don't want to wait months. We need back ASAP, and we need photos of the cows. And of course, anything else you would love to share. Your book, we want links to that too, so Laura can post that into to the YouTube channel and share more. But I am so excited and so happy for you. Like, and the love, you just emanate this beauty. You always have, from the moment I met you, and now all these years later, and to see where you are and to have faith in yourself in this journey, even though it's terrifying at times, I can so appreciate that. My big move from South Jersey to Pennsylvania, I know that fear. And it's not an easy task to trust in something you can't physically see or have control over. And I think, unfortunately, that's what holds a lot of people back from stepping into their own power and where they feel they belong. So I would love to talk more about that, because we know you did overcome quite a few obstacles to get to where you are, and hear more about the farm, and how everything else is going. And you have these amazing, you've created this beautiful space to have, you said there's Montessori schooling,
Yep.
You're hoping for like these goddess events.
Yep.
You're bringing in more livestock. Your chickens are on the way. There's just so much going on. I mean, this is incredible. An hour is not enough, girlfriend. We need you more.
I know.
We need you back.
I'll be back. You just say the word, girl.
Oh,
absolutely. Does your farm have a name?
It does. It's called Barn and Bloom.
Barn and Bloom.
I thought there was something there that was pretty special. Barn and Bloom.
We're actually just working on the marketing side at the moment. We haven't officially launched yet because, you need to have a product to be able to advertise it. So hubby is working really hard on our barn doors at the moment. We're getting all the electricity put in, and I'm so excited to get the chandeliers. And the design is the most exciting thing for me because that's where I excel. I love beautiful things. And these kids are just going to have the most bougiest time in that barn. I know, learning bougie style, which is great. And and that's also part. I also want to give back for moms because we're actually going to be having like a little coffee cart for the moms. So when they drop off, when they drive down the road, they can stop, have a coffee, sit down, have something sweet to eat, and really just connect with the other moms, because so often moms just drop kids off and like they're in their head, they're spinning, they're going here and there. I'm like, sit down.
Right.
Let's have a chat. Let's connect. How you doing? Because a lot of people don't get asked that. How you doing? So, right?
And mean it. Not just as a greeting.
There
Absolutely.
we go. And this is what I'm all about. We are witnessing, and it's the comfort of being witnessed, and truly at a soul level, because we've lost that. A lot of women are very judgmental, unfortunately, but we need to start fixing each other's crowns. We need to be there for each other because life is so hard as it is. Why not be there to support in a capacity, even if it's just you look beautiful, or hey, have a great day. Those words can change a life. So, it would be an absolute honor to come back. I just love you. I miss you so much.
Oh, thank you. I know we're probably going to be walking around with smiles all day because we got to talk to Angelique.
Energy.
Great energy. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you starting off your journey with us today. We're going to have many more talks because you have so much wisdom and so much good energy and vibes to share with everyone. And you're such a wisdom keeper. And so I'm just excited. As Stephanie is, to have you on and share what you feel, what you're getting from nature, what you're getting from spirit. It's all important. And you're anchoring what we want for this earth now. It's not a future vision. It's happening now. And that's so impactful. So thank you for that work that you're doing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Love you, Angie. You're doing amazing.
Thank you. And hey, I just want to say I'm so honored to be here sitting with you two beautiful beings. And seriously, I just thank you for creating this platform, because this is exactly what women like myself need, right? A space to be able to really, truly be seen, to be held, not judged, and, share from our heart space. And we couldn't have done it without you beautiful ladies. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you again soon.
Yay. All right, everybody. Well, thank you to Angelique for being here on another episode of the Sleeping Lotus podcast. We hope that things are blooming in your world as well. And, a small change goes a very long way. So until next time, remember to like, subscribe, and share. It helps us out as a new podcast. And we will see you next time with our next guest. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week.